gather around the table once again for another session of Dungeons and Drakfus. Happy Tuesday, everybody, and here we are with the second batch of Dungeons and Drakfus for Burning Crusade content. Today, we take on the final instance in Auchindoun with an awesome, grandiose door in front of it. So let's go over this really quick. We first took on the Manitombs, where we were dealing with the Ethereal's problems. We then took on the Auchindoun Crypts, where we dealt with the demons a little bit, but most along the lines of necromancy. We then took on the Sethic Halls and dealt with the Sethic Arakoa, along with their leader. Oh, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but yeah, we dealt with the Sethic Arakoa in there. Here we are dealing with the Cabal. We've been hearing about them since we did questing in Terakar Forest, but they're probably the most nasty because they are the reason Auchindoun is in the shape it's in. And that's because they awoke something they shouldn't have awoken. They awoke the elemental spirit, Murmur. And today we go into the Shadow Labyrinth to take on Murmur and to take care of it once and for all. So here we go. This is the Shadow Labyrinth. And actually one of the more pivotal attunement quests for the raid Karazhan. So a lot of people actually had to do Shadow Labyrinth. We're going to be doing Heroic because why not? There's no bonus bosses or anything like that, but we might as well, you know, get some extra loot out of it. And we have a couple of quests in here. First of all, with Spy Griktha.
Greetings.
We people of the lower city had a rather extensive spy network set up in the Shadow Labyrinth until recently. Now they're all dead except me and Togan. So find Spy Togan. The Shadow Council has already killed most of our spies, but Togan was foolish enough to escape only to go back in. You must find him. He may be reckless, but we need to find out what he knows. Okay, and then also we have Field Commander Mafoon. So he has two. The leadership of Shatrat is slow to act, so the great people of Lower City have taken matters in the Shadow Labyrinth into their own hands. So the Codex of Blood. 2 years ago, the Shadow Council summoned forth a being that shattered the Auchindoun in its wake. Yes, the Cabal actually is a little subsect of the Shadow Council. So if people remember Gul'dan from Warlords of Draenor and his buddy, oh crap, Tarangor. That's what his actual name is. They were the Shadow Council. Read the Codex of Blood to find out what happened. Be warned, Grandmaster Vorpal guards it with his life. Alright, and then Ambassador Helmaw. When the Cabal found our spies, they fed them to Ambassador Helmaw, one by one. Our men deserve justice. Slay the ritualists binding him, then dispose of Helmaw. It is a most deserving fate. Alright, so we need to take care of 12 Cabal ritualists and Ambassador Helmaw. So let's go ahead and do that and start up the Shadow Labyrinth. So really the purpose of the Shadow Labyrinth is Murmur. You're coming in here to take care of the very thing that destroyed Auchindoun. And thankfully, it's not too hard anymore, but this actually used to be one of the harder endgame dungeons. I know, because I tanked it numerous times, and even though it is fun, it is actually fun to be able to do. There are really good boss mechanics to it. If you had to do it consistently, like for a Karazhan attunement, wasn't very fun. Sorry, I have some ice in my mouth. So here we go. Let's start killing off some of these ritualists. Thankfully, you don't have to kill too many of them. At least for the requirement. You have to kill them all to release Ambassador Helmaw, but that's okay. And he's actually off in the back. Ooh, but we also have some fellow overseers. Making sure you all do your jobs. So let's go ahead and kill off the remaining ritualists. And finally. Okay, we're gonna back out and make sure that he can't see me. So let's go ahead and go into the, oh crap. Let's go into the lore of Ambassador Helmaw. So we just need to get back in here and Shadow Labyrinth. A powerful demonic servant and acolyte of pain, Ambassador Helmar is dedicated to the art of death. He loves nothing more than the taste of a mortal's lifeblood tinged with horror and despair. Helmar is bound by the fellow orcs of the Shadow Labyrinth, and fed a constant stream of prisoners, bolstering the demon to serve the black will of his masters. Okay, so let's go and take on Ambassador Helmar. And down he goes. So, oh, cool. We actually got a really cool shield. And some green items and all that fun stuff. But, first of all, we're going to take a quick detour. This is actually where Spy Togan is. That was asked about us, or asked for us by Grikla, I think is her name. So, here's Spy Togan. We need to find out what he knows. Did you think you could help me get out of this cage? Or do you think you could help me? It's a bit cramped. Yeah, the soul devices. They've been torturing me, trying to get me to tell them everything I know. They fed the others to Helmar, and I was to be next, but I told them nothing. They're using special devices to make their summoning more powerful. You must steal these devices. Okay, so we need to steal 5 soul devices, and we've also freed Togan, so he is free from his persecution. But funniest thing, the soul devices that we need to take care of are actually in the next room, which if people watched my Shattered Halls episode and are wondering when the next ogre boss came in, it's actually this guy. Oh, I love this guy. It is, yeah, I was going to say Blackheart the Insider. I'm so glad he actually made it into Warlords of Draenor, by the way. Blackheart the Insider is the second ogre boss that is absolutely amazing. And this one in particular because he adds just the right element of chaos to a group. I'll go into that in a second as we kill off these guys. And we need to get these soul devices as well. Oh no, we have Dark Shaman, but we don't care about that. We care about these soul devices. So there we go. We have these soul devices now. I'm trying to think if there are any in the back. I can't remember. Boom! Just gonna take care of all these ones. You might notice that I'm getting a lot of Fel armaments. That's actually really great for Aldor rep, because you have to get demonic artifacts, and people might remember when I did the Scryer stuff, you get the signets or the tomes from the Tempest Keep instances. So if you're Aldor, you are running this a lot to be able to get exalted. Okay, here's 3 and 4. Oh. I don't need a group for sweeping the shelf. I'm not even doing Cataclysm content right now. We need our 5th. Where's our 5th one? Paging for a soul device. Maybe I can get it in the next room. So here is Blackheart the Insider. Let's go into the lore first, then I'll go into my stories, because this guy was amazing back in the day. Blackheart the Insider. When the Orcish Horde first invaded Azeroth through the Dark Portal, the two Shadow Council members instead turned their attentions to the ancient Draenei burial grounds of Auchindoun. The unquiet spirits in the area proved to be excellent subjects for the warlock Blackheart to perfect his mind control abilities. Speaking of the mind control abilities, that's what makes this guy awesome. So occasionally, what this guy would do is he would mind control the party and send them against each other. And I love his line. And if I could actually find it, then I'll put it up here. But it was time for fun. And so back in the day, like, he would literally turn the party against itself. So the DPS could literally nuke the healer. They could nuke the tank, all that stuff. And it was chaos, but it was brilliant. And it was always hilarious as to what he would make you do. I don't know how many times as a tank I got to go smack the healer and interrupt them numerous times. I especially made my guildmaster, who was a priest at the time, very pissed off because all my interrupts were very conveniently used on her when she was trying to heal. So here's Blackheart the Insider. There we go. Moonglade hand wraps. Is this a set? Yes, this is actually the druid set. Okay, let's grab this. No, never mind. We don't want the Animatide deposit. What the hell? What's wrong with me? Okay, so deeper and deeper we go into the Shadow Labyrinth. And as you can see, more and more demons are starting to show themselves, because the Shadow Council is primarily warlocks. And they loves themselves, them demon summons. Oh, and here's our 5th soul device, so let's go ahead and grab that. And over here is the fellow overseer, so let's go ahead and take care of him. See if we can sneak past these guys into the next room, which is the room of Grandmaster Vorpal. And Vorpal is the keeper of the Codex of Blood. Seriously, if you're getting Diablo flashbacks, it only makes sense that you would, because there's lots of Diablo in here. Okay, so here is Grandmaster Vorpal. We're not going to worry about the Codex just yet. As you can see, he's occasionally, like, preaching to them. Oh, we have a bunch of Loa City rep that we can get. We don't care about that. So let's go ahead and see if we can read the Codex of Blood, or if he'll pull. Cool. The musty pages of the Codex seem to magically turn themselves, guiding your attention to a specific chapter past horrors no mortal eye should ever perceive. The book opens to a page that somehow feels right, yet so very wrong. Opening the magically suspended tome, a sense of dread overwhelms you. Something is most definitely wrong here. Okay. And into the heart of the labyrinth. The Shadow Council has lost control of the cosmic being that they summoned here almost 2 years ago. Known only as Murmur, it threatens to overrun the Shadow Council and break free into the outside world. Okay, so we need to destroy Murmur now. So here is Grandmaster Vorpal. Let's go ahead and go into his lore. In the early days of the Horde, Grandmaster Vorpal convinced the Orc warlock Gul'dan to allow him to investigate the mysteries of Auchindoun, secretly desiring to harness the energy of the frightening, powerful cosmic essences that permeated the area. And this guy was a bear to tank, but it was such a fun fight to be able to do. It was basically a tank dance fight where he had to go up and down this hall as he summoned endless amounts of skeletons against you. And we got the Hallowed Pauldron, which are for priests. But I think it was for healing priests. Yes. Alright, we are actually near the end. This is the final chamber, the chamber where Murmur lies. You'll notice that a borrowed model was used here. Yes, they borrowed the Ragnaros model, but they modified it because Murmur is supposed to be an elemental of pure sound. But as you could tell, the most elite of the Cabal are trying to contain him, trying to take care of him. They can't do anything about him. He is way too powerful. And so thus, you're going to come in here and take care of the remaining Cabal while Murmur continues to nuke them. And, in turn, then take care of Murmur. We don't care. Because we're almost there. Thankfully, they do most of the work for you because Murmur is already at 40%, so all you got to do is nuke him down through his last little bit of health. But let's go ahead and go into the lore of Murmur. In the beginning, so far away, such phrases cannot begin to describe this elemental's origin. Its existence heralds pure destruction. Worlds shatter and the pieces scatter at its whim. Only the truly mad would think to summon it. Perhaps there is yet time to banish Murmur before it fully enters Outland. And then you're all boned. This thing destroyed Auchindoun. What is it going to do with someone? What is it going to do out in Outland? And the coolest part is, like, in Warlords of Draenor, you could fight an early version of Murmur. I always liked that concept. He was like one of the rares that you could come across. That's awesome. Just merging that lore here. So let's go ahead and take care of Murmur. So, boom. Fist of Fury! And there you go. Trust me, he was harder back in the day. Oh, and we get the Curator Master's Trousers. So that's actually really cool. Hallowed Garments, which is, yet again, Healing Priest, and Deep Currents. And we don't care about the Primal Nether, because we can't really sell it off. Nobody really wants it. Now, here's also another little fun fact. So, like I said, Shadow Labyrinth, you had to come in to do the Karazhan attunement. You actually had to go to this jar and release an elemental, and that would give you your attunement to get the Karazhan key. I think this was like the third and final fragment that you needed. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for the Shadow Labyrinth. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And thanks again for watching. And when I return next week, we will resume Dungeons and Drakfus. But you can also check out the Tale of Drakfu tomorrow as we continue our questing in Cataclysm. But until next week, we'll see you guys next time. And this time, we're going to be going and dealing with a little bit more time-oriented stuff. You get my drift? It's time for us to go back to the past. We'll see you guys then.